Flames, Epic Gaming. So today I'm going to show you the Protection Paladin, which was just added really recently. But before I go into details about some of the abilities that are being changed and the new talents and show you the quest line for the artifact weapon, I just wanted to point out a few things about what Blizzard has recently added into the alpha. So first thing, or something they've actually taken away, is you might notice that we do not have helmets right now. So if you haven't been keeping up with Wowhead or anybody else who sort of reiterates what Blizzard has been saying on the forums, they've currently taken helmets out of the game to fix up the artwork and make them look a little bit better. So right now nobody has any helmets, so that's why you can see your character's heads and they don't have any helmets to see. You still can equip helmets and have them equipped, you just can't see them. So before we get started, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the new abilities and some of the changes to the Paladin. Excuse me. So the first one that the first thing I'm going to talk about is sort of the way that damage mitigation works for the Protection Paladin. So you still have Divine Shield, but now it is going to protect you from all damage and spells for 8 seconds, and that's different from what it used to do. I'm pretty sure. Also, I don't believe you have the other shield you used to use with it that had spell damage reduction. Um, so all that's completely sort of different now. You have Ardent Defender, which will reduce damage taken by 20% for 8 seconds. While this is active, the next attack that you would otherwise kill you would instead cause you to heal by 12% of your maximum health. So there's a little bit more self-healing mixed into the damage mitigation. You have another actual self-heal that they actually want you to use now. It's called Light of the Protector. It calls down the light to heal yourself for 50% of your maximum health. It's instant. It's got a 14.7-second cooldown. Seems kind of interesting how that's going to work in rotation-wise when you're actually doing dungeons and stuff. You've got your Guardian of Ancient Kings, and you've got your Lay on Hands, and then of course you have your Blessing of Protection, Blessing of Sacrifice, and Blessing of Freedom, which are more for using with your group mates. So an interesting thing I noticed, unless I'm completely missed it in the spell book, is that right now Protection Paladins do not have Crusader Strike. So what they do have is they've got the new form of Avenger's Shield. They've got Judgment, Shield of the Righteous, Consecration, Hand of Reckoning, Blessed Hammer, which is actually a talent which I'll go into in a minute, Rebuke, and then Hammer of Justice. So now if we take a look at the talents really quickly. So they sort of moved around some of the talents. Like previously, Holy Shield was, I think, like a max level talent, level 100. It's now level 30 talent. And I took that because I thought that was the best. For right now, out of the other ones, we have Guardian's Light here, and then we have Last Defender. I'm sure that Wowhead has a whole talent calculator up, so if you want to take a look at some of these other talents and play around with them on the Wowhead site, I would totally recommend doing that. I'm not going to go over all the different combinations. I'm just going to go over the ones that I specifically chose. So the first one I chose for level 15 one was called Consecrated Hammer. So basically, if you use your Hammer of Righteous while standing in your consecration, it gets a damage bonus. Now, if you use that talent, it always has a damage bonus whether you're standing in your consecration or not. So it just makes it a little more easier to use that utility-wise. I chose Fist of Justice, so your spells consume Holy Power, reduce the remaining cooldown and Hammer of Justice by 10 seconds. And this is Hammer of Justice. And we just got a bug. Just gotta restart the client really quick. I've noticed recently some other YouTubers have also been having a lot of bug issues very recently, so I think it just has to do with the new build. So I do apologize for that. Okay, so we're back in. So where was I? Talents. I chose Retribution Aura, so this is basically an aura that you get. It deals holy damage to enemies whose melee attacks strike an ally within 60 yards, but this damage generates an additional threat. So you have this aura that increases your threat generation. I took Blessed Hammer, which basically replaces Hammer of the Righteous. Throw a Blessed Hammer, the spirals outwards, dealing holy damage to enemies. Blah blah blah. It causes them to deal 15% less damage to um, the Paladin on their next auto attack. I took Consecrated Ground, so your Consecration now heals allies in your vicinity, and then Final Stand, which reduces the cooldown of Divine Shield by 50%. And when you use Divine Shield, you also taunt all the targets within 15 yards for 8 seconds. So increases a little bit more utility for tanking. So that's pretty much what the abilities are right now. They're subject to change. I'm sure that it's totally possible that there's some other tank abilities that are supposed to go on this bar that obviously are not there right now that could be added in later. So without further ado, I'm going to go to the next part, which is the artifact quest. And apparently this is stacking twice, so there's some bugs, obviously. Wyvern Knight over here. Okay, what do you want from me? Accept the fate of Azeroth. Or not. Decline. The fate of Azeroth. Turn in. Select an artifact open to pursue. Okay, so there's some very interesting bugs. So we're going to take the protection one, so that's Truth Guard. Select. Artifact open chosen. Weapons of Legend. Excellent. Speak with Orc Trueheart. Hello.
What can I do for you? Watch your back.
Meet him on Shield Hill in Howling Ford.
See you soon.
Okay. So we're going to go, or first I'm actually going to pull a mount out of my very nice mount place. Actually, I want a different mount. What other mounts do I have? Let's use this one. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go to the portrait room, which is in the middle of Dalaran. You've probably seen that from other videos. And we're going to take the portal to the Howling Ford, or actually to Warmrest Temple, and then we'll go from there to Howling Ford. So, right here. And then we wander through here. And I think that I don't have any speed buffs right now. Or period. So we're just going to have to walk at the normal speed. And for later use, I actually should put this on my bar because I'm going to need that for flying. So here is the Warmrest Temple. So we're going back to a raft zone for this quest line, which I think is kind of cool that you go to other zones. Though the zones are updated in some areas, not just instanced for the scenarios. Okay, so I'm here. If my character loads in. Oh, wait a second. There we go. And now we're going to fly to Howling Ford. So, one other thing I'll talk about right now that I probably have not really gone over is that the item level pretty much starts off, or actually I'm not sure where it's going to start off, but these are all the greens you start off with in the alpha. My guess is this 680 eye level probably is going to be what the greens actually give you when you start off Legion, whether you already have other higher eye level gear or you're just starting off a new character from a boost. My guess is this is the sort of eye level you're going to start with. That could change. It could be completely different. I could be completely wrong because this is an alpha build, so they could have specifically chosen the eye level for that. But whatever items are going to be the first set of items you get in Legion, they're definitely going to pretty drastically up your eye level, especially your artifact weapons, because as soon as you start getting relics, you're going to start increasing the item level of your artifact weapon, and that is going to be a contributing factor in your average item level. So I think it's going to be also very interesting to see how that works and plays into the fact that the fatigue, okay, the zones are going to scale to you, and what I've noticed is they don't actually scale to your level, they scale to your item level. and I accidentally this by mistake I unequipped an item that or my artifact weapon actually, and I noticed that the health of the thing I was fighting drastically dropped. So it looks like your eye level is scaling. Now, how that's going to work in parties, I can't say for sure, but I think that probably what would make sense to me is that the party leader would probably be the one who the enemies scale to, and then they just sort of drop loot in the range of, um, you know, what all your group members are doing. It could be different. It might somehow manage to scale it to every single person in your party individually. So, like, if I'm standing there with my friend and he's got a higher level than me, then it's totally possible that maybe the items that drop for both of us are going to be completely different and such. So it looks like we're almost at the place where we're going to start this quest line. It does take a little bit of travel time to get to where you're going. And we can just sit here and watch the map as we get closer and closer. So everything outside of the scenario in these zones is still the original level of the expansion. So we're level 100 right now, and basically all these like level, I don't even know if they are 70 things or whatever, we could go around and just like instantly kill. It's been quite a long time since I've actually been in this zone. There we go.
Hi. Safe travels.
Get the end. Okay, get the end of the story from the spirit of the writer, saga writer. Okay, fine.
Ancestors watch over you.
Investigate the first site. Alrighty. So I might end up fighting some stuff, but it looks like they're all level 70, so maybe not. Let's try to fight this guy and see what happens. Oh, he instantly dies, so there's no point. Okay. So we're not going to see any combat yet. Consecrating. Oh, now we see combat. Oh, look, they're level 100. Actually, gonna move that here. So this is actually quite interesting. So I'm just the animations are completely different, by the way, if you haven't noticed. But I'm not doing, or I'm not taking that much damage. Just baseline damage, and I'm not actually doing that much either. It's just they're just like kind of like slowly dying. Okay. Next site.
I'm out of range.
So we're looking through these relics and sort of trying to, I guess, figure out what the story is. I'm not actually quite sure how this quest is making any sense. Oh, and there's another UI error. Or crash, actually. I was watching another YouTuber's video the other day, trying to figure out some dungeon mechanics, and they were commenting that they had crashed like 3 times during the video. So it looks like I'm in the same boat today. This is the second time. We'll see how many more times I end up crashing. Well, looks like it just gave it to me, so I'm just gonna go into the next part. And I'm actually gonna try this heal thing. That is actually pretty cool. So it takes about 15 seconds for it to recast. This is the correct grave. Complete the ritual. I don't know what I'm supposed to keep them safe from. That does not look good. Valkyr. Not Valkyr. What do you call these guys? I forget. Let's go back to Dalaran. What were we doing here in the first place? I'm just looking for a grave. So I guess we had to find the location of the artifact weapon in the first place before we can go after it. Ready to turn in. The end of the saga. And while we're here, I'm just going to pick this up in case we need it later. Flight point, always important. Okay, what does he want?
You got my attention.
The end of the saga, accept.
See you soon.
Let's try to go through that again. Complete.
Off with you. Watch your back.
Let's get on. Take the... We're going to Stormheim. Take the Argent Hippogriff to Stormheim. That is interesting. I'm not certain about this, but I think this might be the same island that you go to. Oh, yep. This is exactly the same place where the Protection Warrior goes to get their artifact weapon. So it's very interesting that the Warrior Shield was also here, and now I think we're going to the same place to find the Paladin Shield. Inside the tomb lies the shrine. Interesting name. Claim the Truth Guard. Okay, well those obviously don't have their own character models yet.
I'm out of range. I need to get closer.
No, not another UI error. No, not more UI errors or client crashes or whatever you want to call them. I am not happy. These are not very helpful. And they always happen right in the middle of combat, too. So back into combat.
I'm out of range.
I guess we just use some sort of arrow thing. I'm stunned? What do you mean I'm stunned? Removing arrow.
I don't have
Okay, the dragon's dead. I think we still have to kill this guy, though. Awesome, so I pick up these arrows. Quick steel arrows. And then I chuck them at him. And it takes out a huge amount of his health. And he's dead. Now what? Get to the shrine. Alright. Tomb of the Old Kings. Okay, these guys are all dead, and let's go.
It's too far away.
Okay, so I read that. Now what? Or did it actually tell me what I was supposed to do? One moment. No, any other to the north. Oh no. You have to dodge that wind, it looks like. Horses.
I need to get closer.
Yep, you can use. So actually, there's one ability I did not talk about, which is your Divine Steed is now an instant cast ability that just allows you to very quickly get on your horse, your Paladin horse, and increases your movement speed for a very short duration. So it's actually really helpful to get through right here, which is what this probably was intended for. The puzzle part of this quest line was to get through here using your horse. It's not gonna let me loot, is it? Nope, it's bugged. Okay. No loot. Now what's this next shrine say? Open the door. Using your holy power. Survive or survey the doorward? Or just survive the doorward? Enter the shrine. Investigate to the shrine. On our tablet and look below. He and his challenge await. So we must fight him. Yep. Champion of Tyr. Interesting. To fight we go. And he just jumps. I've waited a long time for someone like you. I sense you are the blood, or you are the blood and have the heart. Okay. I have to talk to him before I can fight him? Okay. So this is one of those civilized fights. It's a trial. What special mechanics does he have, I wonder? Look at all those DOTs. Oh, because my allies are using them. I'm assuming Blade Storm is it's a warrior ability. Huh. Interesting.
I need to get closer.
Hmm. She has to die. Immune to attack. So I gotta switch between attacking them, I guess using the Ice Block ability. Oh boy. I just got thrown for quite some damage.
I'm out of range. It's too far away. I need to get closer.
And he's almost dead. Why am I still in combat? I beat you. Oh, Yigrim defeated. Rune Shaper.
I'm out of range.
The trial's not over because she's not dead. That's a bug, probably. Unless she's supposed to die. Like that. Take Truth Guard. Return to Dalaran. Except, let's see. I can take the Hippogriff outside. Oh no. That was a bug. So, I guess really quickly, let's just see what the special ability of this is. Equip Truth Guard. Truth Guard, okay, equip. Truth Guard stores 10% of all damage taken in its occasional releasing its energy. It deals all-star damage to all enemies within 8 yards, granting you an absorb for that amount. So basically it gives you a shield. And this is Oathseeker, which is the sword. Which is actually a pretty good sword. Looks pretty cool. Okay. So now I guess we're gonna head out. I don't think there's any other way out than the way we came in, so we're gonna go that way. I'm just gonna actually use my mount really quick, or that ability mount. So it's kind of interesting that they actually had both the shields for the warrior and protection warrior and protection paladin in this Tomb of the Old Kings. I have not seen any other quest lines here, but there are 3 wings of it, so my assumption is there's at least one other weapon here, and it may be another class that I just have not worked on or done a video on yet, or it could just be a class they haven't added in, or specialization, sorry. So, it looks like it's raining outside now. And where's our hippogriff friend? Hey, look, he's still there. They're still here. What? Okay, that's interesting. They should have gone back. To Dalaran we go. Hopefully on our way back there won't be any more client crashes, because I've had my fill for those for the day.
Light be with you.
So the quest thing's a little screwed up.
Need help? Go with honor, friend.
Join the other paladins at Light's Hope Sanctum beneath Light's Hope Chapel.
Light bless you.
The others should be waiting for you in the sanctum beneath Light's Hope
For the
Chapel.
Alliance.
You should make haste.
Okay, so it looks like I have to. I don't believe I have the ability yet to teleport there. I do not. No, not another client error, just what I said I didn't want. Okay, hopefully that'll be the last one, because we're almost done with the quest line. If it only now wants to let back in, that'd be really nice. There we go. Okay. So we're going to take the portal to Dalaran Crater and then fly to Light's Hope Chapel. I think it's funny you can summon a horse. Just like that. And we fall from the sky using that portal. And then we fly back up to Light's Hope Chapel we go. I think it's funny that it shows you these things as being optional because they're really not. The optional travel, take the portal, or fly are like the fastest ways to get there. So that's really what you're gonna want to do, if this is how the game's gonna be when it comes out and releases. So like I said earlier, everything is subject to change. So I'll definitely go through and continue sort of testing out the different specializations of all the classes in dungeons and some leveling, and I'll keep everyone posted of when there are changes or if there are any changes to what is currently in the alpha build. I think they're still working on just getting the specializations into the game right now, so they really haven't gone back through to start changing or fixing up specific classes or specializations that people are already having issues with. I know one of the biggest complaints is that there's a lot of issues with the dungeons right now, with people logging out or not being able to complete them because the bosses aren't doing the right amount of damage, and there's a lot of numerous issues. So I'll see what I can do about videos for some more dungeons. You might have already seen I do have a video up for Darkheart Thicket, but we were not able to kill the final boss, and it seems like that's a big issue that everyone else was complaining about in the forums as well. Um, I'll probably try to do some of the other dungeons at some point in the near future. I was looking into doing Halls of Valor or Darkroot Hold. So we'll see which one of those I do, or I could just be doing a completely different one. But I'm definitely gonna go try to run those at some point and do some videos on those when the bugs are in a state where it will not just force me off the server every 5 seconds. As you saw in this video, it's kind of really annoying, and I really would not want to be doing that in the middle of a dungeon. So it looks like we're almost there. This is a little bit inconvenient because we have to fly all the way through these 2 zones to get there, but that could just be temporary. While we're flying, actually, there's probably a few passives that have changed that are going to be different, so let's look at the passives really quick here. Oops. So, passive, Grand Crusader, when you avoid melee attack or use Hammer of the Righteous, you have 15% chance of refreshing the cooldown of Enter Shield. Heart of the Crusader, increases your mounted speed. Okay, that's normal. Let's see what else we've got. Okay, Mastery, Divine Bulwark, increases the damage reduction of your Shield of the Righteous by 18%. And increases your chance to block melee attacks by 37%. Also increases your attack power by 37%. Your judgment critical strikes cause you to gain a charge of Shield of the Righteous, and this is the passive that draws aggro. So definitely a different style of Paladin for tanking than is currently live in Draenor. So for everybody who's playing Paladins, they're definitely changing them to the point that they're not going to play very similarly, and you may want to sort of see if they are even going to still play in the way that you would be comfortable playing them. Otherwise, I would suggest looking at some other tank classes, especially if you're a really good tank who wouldn't really have that much trouble switching classes. Really consider whether Paladins or even any of the other classes are still what you really want to enjoy playing, because they're really doing a number on just changing everything, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I just think it's something that is going to be really different than what they've done in the past, where they've done a few minor changes to the classes and sort of changed them every expansion. This where like they're redoing all the classes in their entirety. They're not going to play at all like they used to. So it's just something to keep in mind. The Ashbringer. Huh. I don't have the Ashbringer.
King's honor, friend. Light bless you.
I'm glad you can make it. Establish the Order of the Silver Hand.
For the Alliance.
Walk with Lord Maxwell. I'm pretty sure this is pretty much the same as what we did in my Retribution Paladin video. This is the part of the quest, basically, that's just going to be completely generic for all paladins, and it doesn't really have anything special except for founding your class hall, upgrading your artifact weapon, and possibly getting your first follower and going to do some of those new follower quests that I'm not sure if they've added in yet. I guess we'll see shortly when I get to the point where you can actually check. So let's see what the garrison report shows. There's no available missions, no available followers. Okay. Inscribing my name. Establish the Order of the Silver Hand. So this might be the text from the Retribution Paladin. They may have not have updated it to be for the other specializations, because this guy's talking about how I can wield the Ashbringer, but clearly I don't have it. But maybe this is just going to be what they're going to use for all 3 specializations. I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. I like the sword and I like the shield quite a lot. Alright. So we got this ability. So he's our first follower.
Be careful. What can I do for
Complete.
you with honor, friend?
Or Lord Grayson. Okay. So now we're going to use this Altar of the Ancient Kings. And we are going to get the first ability called the Eye of Tyr. Release a blinding flash from Truth Guard, causing holy damage to all enemies within 8 yards. That reduces all damage they deal by 25%. So I'm actually going to put that right next to Consecration. So just really quickly, some other abilities we have here. Well, first of all, they can use Holy or Iron Relics. So some other abilities here are causes additional healing. Let's see what else we've got. Increases the healing of life. Yep. Reduces the cooldown of Blessing of Sacrifice. Increases your armor when you're under 40% health. Avengers Shields you for the Avengers Shields you for. Okay, so they haven't fixed their grammar, by the way. Blizzard is notorious for having really misspelled things right now in alpha, so some of this stuff is very hard to read. Avengers Shields you for the amount of damage is dealt. Increases your health by 2%, increases the damage of your shield. So basically self-healing, increasing duration of like Consecration, deals extra damage, draws extra aggro. Those sort of things are what Truth Guard's abilities are.
Greetings. Go with honor, friend.
So that guy who's our first follower is also the guy who's going to give us our first quest to, or basically quest to go to the quest board, which allows you to choose which zones you are going to take them in quests for. So we will see if we are able to send him out on any missions yet. But I think last I checked, that system was still in development. But we will see very quickly, or very shortly I should say, right here. Hello, mission specialist complete. Select the first assault point.
Careful.
So I'm for this just going to select Val'Sharah. And that's it. It doesn't look like there's any missions I can send him on right now.
Light be with you. Light bless you.
And there's a portal to Dalaran over this way. So anyways, that is the end of the Protection Paladin quest line. If you have any other questions about the Protection Paladin, feel free to leave me a comment on the video. And I will continue to keep you posted of any new developments and go through some of the other specializations later on. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I will see you next time.